1, 2, 3. Hi, I'm Edmund. I'm counselor from our Counseling and Speech Therapy.
Hi, I'm Cheryl, speech and language therapist from our Counseling and Speech Therapy.
Cheryl, I have something that I want you to guess today. Okay, I'm going to act up something and then you're going to guess what is it.
Okay.
Is that alright?
Can, sure.
Okay. First one, okay? One word only.
Gorilla. Orangutan. Maybe more generic. Monkey.
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I'm asking you to guess because I'm thinking, what if someday I can't speak, and I need to express myself through gestures or whatever it is.
Perfect question for a speech therapist.
Yes.
Well, I guess you were trying to express yourself just now, right?
Yes.
But it's just that it's not through the verbal mode that we are all very used to.
Yep.
Everyone has this assumption that if someone wants to express him or herself, he or she has to use his or her words, right? I guess that's why a lot of parents do come in asking, when will my child be able to speak? Yeah, but oftentimes I will actually say, communicating with someone else is not only through speech. Yeah.
So does that mean that for students that have what's the term that they use? They use the word neurodivergent, all right?
Yes.
Meaning they have some diagnoses.
Yeah.
Does it mean that you will encourage them to use other sorts of ways to communicate?
Yeah, definitely. Remember, one of the areas of practice for speech and language is actually the AAC. Yeah, so whereby we actually do encourage kids who are non-speaking to use other ways to express themselves. So it can be through the use of visuals, pictures exchange, or like a high-tech device whereby it's speech generating device. Yeah, so that actually helps people around them to be able to understand them better. And of course, we are not saying that gestures, texting are not acceptable. They are definitely part of communication as well. Yeah, so just now what you were doing, like the gesturing, right? Yeah, so but I think just a reflection on what was being done earlier, right? So I was just wanting to share, it really takes a bit of patience as well for others, because it's not the go-to modality that we understand, like we know, just now when I was guessing randomly, gorilla, orangutan, but you couldn't tell me that's not the right answer, right? But you just kept continuing. So that's when I guess, maybe it's not the answer that Edmund has in mind. Yeah, so in a way, you do have your own answer in mind, right? And I cannot force you to accept any answer that I want it to be. So in the process, I was just wondering, how did it feel for you?
Okay, I think in this case, I don't feel the frustration because monkey, gorillas, they are quite similar. But I guess if you get something that's very different and I have no other way to tell you what is it, other than keep on doing it, then I guess I might get very frustrated,
True.
Yeah. I'm also reflecting, monkey is a very easy word, right? Like it's a very concrete word that you know what is it, you can mimic the behavior.
Yes.
But I'm thinking if something that is very abstract, so it's a bit harder for me to gesture also. Like for example, if I want to gesture, I'm confused, like how would I even do that gesture to tell you that I'm confused?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I was thinking also if it's some complicated animals, right? I probably wouldn't be able to guess it as well. Yeah.
Before we go on, Cheryl, I just wonder, when we say the word neurodivergent, what exactly does it mean?
Personally, in my opinion, I would think that it's referring to actually like the population where they have special needs.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess in a way we also try to put it, why neurodivergent? It's because to actually be more embracing and understanding that everyone is different, right? And why do we need to term it, like give them a term like, you are special in a way? Yeah, so I guess neurodivergent makes it more embracing to for the populations like those with diagnosis in terms of like ADHD that we know, ASD, dyslexia, even for those with a language disorder, maybe those with motor neuron diseases as well, like cerebral palsy also.
Wow. It sounds like quite diverse.
Yeah, really that's why it's divergent in a way.
ADHD and ASD that's more neurological based. Okay, I guess they are all neurological based, but then to even things like you mentioned cerebral palsy, where it's a motor kind of a thing. So it's really a wide range.
Definitely.
For me, I know I work a lot with students with ADHD, and occasionally sometimes children with ASD also, in terms of their emotional management and things like that. But I wonder for you, is there a special group of neurodivergent students that you constantly work with, or is that really like widespread?
I don't think there's definitely language will be one of them. And we do see quite a number of kids with autism as well, because social communication skills is one of the areas of need as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of focus in terms of helping them with their social communication skills. I think that there are times when we also see kids with dyslexia as well, because they might need help in terms of like the phonic skills also. And oftentimes they do show signs of language deficits also.
In fact, they also show some emotional issue when they can't get certain words, or they are very frustrated in the learning process.
That's true. Because like in terms of spelling, reading wise, it can get really, really frustrating for them if they are unable to comprehend what's happening in class also.
Okay. So out of these various group of neurodivergent children, which one do you work most with? Is there such a thing?
Most with, I think, probably currently will be those with autism. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's also because greater awareness also. Yes. Even though there are oftentimes like, the mindset whereby, hey, how do I get my child to speak? I think that is one of the critical things at the back of a lot of parents' minds. But we do see, I actually do see a shift recently. Like more parents are actually asking, hey, is there a way to help my child to communicate instead of speaking per se? So speaking will be like what we talk about, using the verbal words, right? But communicate, it means like, hey, is there alternative manner? Like maybe using visuals, using picture exchange, or is it using the AAC speech generation?
Gesture?
Oh yes, of course. But there's only, not that only so much gestures, but then there are signing also as well.
Sign language.
Sign language, definitely. So we actually do teach kids how to sign also at the initial stages as well. But of course because as they grow older, even though they may not be able to speak, but that doesn't mean that they do not have any thoughts or feelings or things that they want to express. So we definitely have to help them to build their vocabulary also to actually be able to express themselves. So how about yourself? Is there a particular population that you work more with?
At the moment, I work more with students with ADHD. Alright, mainly because there's usually present with a lot of issues in schools, and some of it related to temper, anger, right, controlling themselves. So these are the focus that I work with them. But I can also imagine working with children with ASD. Alright, because they also need to learn how to regulate and manage their feelings. Alright, I guess for most students with any of the neurodivergent issue that we're talking about, there's a lot of frustrations because people don't understand them, or they couldn't express themselves, or they may not be competent in a certain way that's comparable to their peers, and that's built a lot of stresses. So I guess my work with them is more on how do you feel good about yourself? How do you not let all these stresses and problems affect you? Or how do you express your anger in an appropriate way, so that your teachers, so that the parents know what's going on with them.
That's
true. So that's mainly my work with them, I guess.
I think you bring out a very important part. Like our job is to work one-on-one with them, but at the same time, I think it's always at the back of our minds also, like how to create awareness. so that people around them can actually understand and embrace them for who they are, rather than trying to like, hey, you shouldn't have been doing this, hey, you need to follow instructions, right? Yeah, so I guess like in terms of for us also, I think in terms of like creating social skills group also, it's not with the mindset that hey, we want them to change, but rather to equip them with the necessary skills like, hey, why is this happening? Why are people trying to they don't understand what our needs, right? So in a way, I guess in the long run, we are trying to build like advocacy also to teach them how to speak up for themselves also.
Yeah. I think the challenge with us as a private practitioner is that we can't go into the school and tell the teachers, hey, this student has this issue and you should be more tolerant of them, or we cannot go to the school and tell the classmate, hey, you should be friends with him or her because he or she has this issue and stuff. So that makes it more challenging, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what's your way of advocating for your students? I'll share mine in a short while.
I think for current students, I'll definitely, definitely start them from young. It doesn't mean that, if they are young, they can't stand up for themselves also. I guess in a way for kids who are, maybe they need, if they find it hard to speak up for themselves, maybe they can let other people know that, hey, I need a little bit more time. Yeah, please be more patient with me. Yeah. So I guess it's a way to actually help them understand that there are certain situations where you will be challenged, like in terms of those who have unclear speech. So I will actually go through, have sessions with them to talk about what are some situations whereby they might feel more challenged in a way, so that they can have a better understanding that not all the times they will be expected to speak super clearly, but there are definitely situations whereby they will put on the spot and they were like, hey, why are you not speaking clearly? In terms of like when they're doing a presentation.
Or oral.
Oh yes, oral examinations. Yeah, so I think it's in a way also for them to seek help, also be open to their teachers and say, hey, I really need a little bit more time, or I need you to be a little bit more understanding. Well, of course, I also think in a way, if they really need that kind of support, that's where the special needs officers in school will come to place as well.
So you work with them?
I do reach out to special needs officers in school as well. Yeah, because I believe that the support between our center and at home, and it works well with schools as well. Yeah, so in terms if there's no special needs officer, if it's a special school, then I'll probably reach out to their teachers, or also maybe psychologists, or even the speech and language therapists in school as well. Yeah, so that we are all on the same page, right? Rather than saying that if we are going to make sure that this child does certain things, to change the child, instead of other people having awareness of what's the needs of the child.
So it's not just a child, but the environment of the child needs to also be modified so that things can work well together.
Yeah, I think we go, or rather we call it accommodations in some ways.
Yes,
right? Yeah. How about yourself? What's your take?
I believe that the biggest advocator should be the parents. All right.
Okay.
I do see some parents when they come in with their children with having ADHD, and they label them as, they're just lazy, or they are just unreasonable for some reason and things like that. I think one of the things that I would like to work on while having the child with me is also to work with the parents so that they can understand, hey, the child is not intentionally being lazy. It's because of the neurodivergent issue that's causing some issues. It's not that the child is purposefully being difficult or being defiant. It could be the ADHD, it could be the ASD, or whatever other diagnosis that they have that is causing some of these issues. And I think once parents are able to accept that, hey, my child are not intentionally difficult, they have some challenges, and the challenges stem from this and that, and then they can then go and advocate for their own child in the school.
It's true.
So that's why I always want to work with parents when they bring the child here for whatever counseling services, right? So in fact, one of the rules that I set is that they must work with me. They cannot just come in once a week, throw the child here, and then they go off, and then they don't care, and they come and pick up at the end of one hour. So they must work with me. So I will have conversation with them so that they can understand and be the best advocate for their own child.
Yeah, that's true. Like giving them homework, right?
Yes, giving them some homework,
Yeah.
giving them some tips on how they can manage at home, or how they can speak to the schools. I guess a lot of times parents also don't dare to speak to the schools. It could be too extreme. One is that they are so worried that their child will be labeled, their child will be being targeted in some area. They don't want to tell the schools. The other extreme is that they don't even know what's going on with the child, so they don't even know what to share with the school. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I want parents to be able to understand what's going on with their child and be confidently go to the school and advocate for what the child needs. Hey, my child has ADHD. He needs some accommodation in this area or that area. You know?
Yes, definitely.
And the demand that they make must be, of course, there's some basis to it. I cannot be just because my child has ADHD, I want to demand the whole world for my child, right? That's not reasonable for the schools also, So a balance of these two,
Yeah, definitely. That reminds me also like of a client who, when he first came in, I mean, not pointing fingers at anybody in this case, because we do understand that schools are really, even preschools, are very, very overwhelmed as well, due to like, being short-handed in terms of manpower. Yeah, so when the boy first joined our center, and when I was looking at his report, I was like, it's a bit concerning. I mean, not that, I was just wondering, hey, I think his ability is a little bit higher than whatever the goals that are being set in the report. So I actually shared with the mom, I said, yeah, I do understand that you have your own set of expectations and where you wished for him to be going to in future. So I said, in that case, maybe the goals can be re-looked at. And when I said that, she was like, oh really? I thought that is only what he's able to. Yeah, but of course she told me, of course I wish that he can do better, if it's possible. So I guess having some support from me, and she really went back to the preschool and said, can something be done? Can something be looked into? Because this is not what I want for my child. Yeah, so I guess in a way it's also like what you mentioned, to help parents, to support them, to be advocates for their child.
Talking about parents, Cheryl, what are some of the tips that you would share with parents in terms of what can they do if their child is neurodiverse? Do they fall into this category? Are there any specific things that they can do? Are there any things that you would really recommend here?
Yeah, sure. So I think in terms of like being patient is definitely the key. Yeah, even though yes, being parents, you can be anxious about the development of the child, which is totally normal. But I think it's also to actually not be too harsh on themselves also, and not be too harsh on the kids. And also to embrace it that, wow, it's a good thing that they actually took the first step to actually seek help, to seek support for their kids already. And I would think in terms of following the child's lead as well, which is what we always say, child-led therapy. But it doesn't mean that, you let the child do whatever he or she wants, right? But it's more in terms of like gearing your child, following your child in terms of what he or she likes, the interests, and then joining in the child's play as well, rather than saying, no, wrong already, wrong. Do that one more time. Yeah, I think that will actually have an impact on the child's emotional well-being also, right? If they've been corrected all the time.
Yeah, can you imagine every time the child tried to speak and the parent was just say, no, it's not right, it's wrong, Definitely they will feel demoralized.
Of course. Yeah. Are there any other tips that you will give to parents?
I would say seek help early. If you notice something about your child and you're not too sure, do go and consult. Consult your pediatric doctor, consult an SLT, consult a counselor, consult a psychologist, whoever it is, doesn't matter. Because the earlier the problem is being detected, of course, the earlier the intervention can be done, and usually then the prognosis is better. So I would really recommend parents not to wait, not to delay. I have heard some parents that say, oh, let's wait and see how it goes. Let's see if you will outgrow it. But at the time you will have lost half a year, 1 year, right? If you have sent for a consultation, go for a consultation immediately, you will have known the issues earlier, right? And then you can do something about it early, right? That's one one tip that I would really hope parents would take up. I think the other tip would be work together with the professional that you're working with, right? I mean, you're paying them, you're trusting their expertise, then work with them, you know. If they give some homework, try your best to do the homework, you know. If they give some suggestion, try your best to follow the suggestion, because I believe that the alignment between the therapist, counselor, doctors, whoever it is, with the home is very important, right? With that alignment, a lot of things can be done, you know, things are faster, you know.
I guess in a way, for a lot of parents, it's quite hard at the start also. Because I think we do face this question quite often. Like some parents actually ask, you know, my child.
Why my child is like that, right?
Why my child is like that, and also, am I a bad parent? That's why my child turned out this way. So it can be quite heartbreaking also at times. But I think it's like what we mentioned earlier. It's not to be so harsh on themselves as well as on their kids. And to actually embrace, you know, what comes and to be able to work together with the professionals.
Now that you brought up this point about bad parents, the other things I want to tell, not parents, but the friends of the parents, is don't give weird advices, you know?
Like how?
I don't know, I mean, just tell them to seek professional consult, you know? Not giving suggestions like, oh, maybe you should try drinking this water or go and pray to this. I mean, not saying that faith does not help, it may help. But I think ultimately, what really works is really the, you know, doctors, psychologists and stuff like that, you know? You know, and we do not want, or rather I do not want parents to waste time, you know, and delay the intervention. So if your friend's child is having an issue, straight away recommend to them, hey, why not you go and seek help, you know? And encourage them to seek professional help, you know? And not giving your own, I don't know, funny advice.
Unsolicited opinions.
Or some unsolicited opinions.
As a friend, you could be using helping them in different ways, like supporting
Give
them.
them support, yes, correct.
Give them support. Emotional support.
Correct. Give the parents emotional support, not encouragement, you know, that's what they need at that moment. And not things like, oh, you shouldn't feed your child sugar, or you shouldn't let them eat ice cream, that's why they're like that, you know? All those non-scientific explanation, you know? Unless it's a scientific explanation, then fair enough, you can share that with the parents. But it's like not like this, oh, don't eat sugar, you know, that's why you feed your child fish, that's why it's like that, or you didn't eat enough fish, that's why it's like that. You know, the kind of non-scientific advice and beliefs,
Fair enough,
hopefully, you don't do that and just tell the parents to, hey, seek early help, go for consultation, look for a pediatric, you know, look for SLT, look for counselors.
Okay, understand. I think that should cover most of the advice, right?
Of course, parents, if you need more specific advice, you can come and look for us, you know. We can advise you based on our experience as a counselor and also based on our experience as a speech and language therapist, right?
Okay.
All right.
So, time flies.
Yes. Time flies, okay? So we shall end here and then we will see you in the next episode.
Okay.
Right.
Remember to like, subscribe
and comment.
And share too.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.